Hi, good evening. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Ministry of Culture, Qatar Photography Center, and Fujifilm QA and Technoblue for having me on a session on the life in street photography. Thank you all for joining here today. So let's start. So what is street photography? Hi. So I would really appreciate if this conversation would be interactive. So let me know who are all loves to shoot streets. So okay, in your opinion, what is street photography? Yes, exactly. You? Okay. Okay. Thank you. So, so what is street photography? So, in my opinion, it's a documentation of daily life. In this picture, uh, before the bird was not there. It was just this man thinking, and this man was sleeping. So I was waiting there. Then suddenly, I got a bird who was flying in the frame, and it picture perfectly, you know, well well fit in the frame. So for me, this is a bonus element. Otherwise, every photographer nowadays, everybody having a phone or a camera, and 24 hours we have a smartphone, and it has a very good quality of camera. So we all are snap shooters. We all are not photographers. We all are snap shooters. So how we snap shooters is different from a photographer. So this bonus element is one of the important factor that you become a photographer. Otherwise, anybody in this location can take this random picture. So you become a photographer when you add a special frame or a bonus element or something really exciting. Either it would be an emotion or an action, or it could be anything. Pardon? No, no, no. I waited there and suddenly it happened. It was not even planned. The difference between a good picture and a mediocre picture is a question of millimeters. Just like we saw in the picture, it's just the bird made a difference. Otherwise, it's just a snapshot. So if we talk about street photography, we cannot avoid the name Henry Cartier-Bresson, who is literally known as the father of street photography. This is one of his famous photograph by Henry Cartier-Bresson. Can you anybody say what is the exciting element, or how this picture is, still we are talking about? What is the exciting element in this picture? Yeah, one you can see there is a man jumping and there is a reflection there. The main bonus element in this picture is that you can see somebody exactly there with the same position. See there. Can you see that? I don't have a pointer today, but if you can see a picture of a man dancing or, splitting his legs, yeah, it's like echo or similarity. So maybe he wouldn't have seen this element, but while looking through his picture, he might have get a good connection with the picture there and the frame here. So when you are in the street, be positive. A positive mind is the key to a great pictures. So one of my mentor used to say, like, how do you take an award-winning picture? The first thing you have to do is like take the camera and go out and shoot. This is the first step to get an award-winning picture. So when you are in the street, think yourself as lucky, be lucky. I mean, even I had a time like I wanted to be a photographer and I don't have a camera, or I don't have the money to buy a camera. So if you have a camera, think lucky that you have a camera. There are so many million people out there who wants to buy a camera and who cannot. So luck is the attentive photographer's best teacher. The first thing is like get a camera. Nowadays, everyone have a smartphone and which has a good quality of uh, camera. First thing is like just go out and shoot. That's the first thing as a beginning stage of getting a good photograph. Keep walking and keep looking and keep pushing yourself. Think like, nobody, every day is not a lucky day for everyone. So sometimes you might be ended up coming out like without having a good frame, but maybe sometime you might be lucky enough to get good quality pictures. So this was one of my very favorite picture throughout my photography life. If this man is alone, is nothing, just a snapshot. Anybody can take this picture. Backside picture of a man is just a normal picture. But the interesting fact is like 3 helicopters rovering around his head without even having a collage. So this was one of my favorite picture. What was in my mind is like for every human, there are so many thoughts going on in your mind. Even people sitting in front of me might be having a lot of things going in your mind. So this was the concept I work it out while presenting this picture. Dragonfly. This was taken in 2019. This was taken during an air show in 2019. Yeah, in Doha. So this was taken in the same year during a rain happened in Doha. I always used to carry a small camera in my hand. That is the one best thing I used to get good pictures. So Fujifilm helped me to have a small tiny camera always in my hand. So this was taken during a rainy day evening in Souk Waqif. So the bonus element is like there is a reflection there. There is a man jumping and there are two reflection of two guys there. So main thing is like get up and go out, find yourself. So what I do is like even if I have a good day or a bad day, every day I used to carry a camera and go out and just wander around. If I find something interesting, I capture it. So 3 levels of engagements, what I follow is like surveying. If I go to Souk Waqif, I hope everybody is familiar with Souk Waqif. So almost every day we used to go out with our friends, photography friends. We just walk around. It's been like we have been going to Souk Waqif for more than 100 times, but still, at the same place you might find something interesting every day. And let me talk about street portraits. I mean, if you find some interesting people, you can ask them, you can talk to them, you can mingle with them, and ask for street portraits as well. One thing I do, I love crowd because in the crowd, you feel like you are invisible. Nobody bothers that you have a camera. Otherwise, if it's an empty street, especially in Doha, if you have a camera, people will catch you and people will question you like, what are you doing? What are you shooting at? So these privacy elements are there. So I love to shoot in the crowd. So when you are in the crowd, you feel like invisible. And when you follow the crowd, I would suggest you to, have a 360 round in the street, and you might be finding some different interesting frame. So this was shot on during World Cup. I was shooting in the Souk Waqif, and I was following. Actually, I'm an Argentina fan, so I was following along with the crowd. Then suddenly, I turned back and I used flash, and I shake the camera. I used to try shaking the camera during the night because to show the chaos. Shaking the camera in a slow shutter, will bring chaos in the frame. See, you know how the World Cup scene in Souk Waqif, it was all a mess. It was full of crowded, so many activities. So it was all a chaos. So I wanted to show the chaos in the frame. That's why I shake the camera with a slow shutter. And this was taken during the World Cup parade of different fans. I was actually following the crowd, then suddenly I took a turn back and I got this picture. I know some of my friends, photographers, whenever it rains, I know that they won't be working in their offices. They'll be out with their cameras. Shiraz. So whenever there is a, we very rarely get rainy season in Doha. So whenever we have a weathercast telling like today there is a chances of rain. So I always keep camera and go out. So in during different weather conditions, you might be having a great chances of getting some interesting pictures. So this was taken in Nepal during a rainy season. I love the human connection with the sisters and their siblings. This was taken from India during a foggy day in Red Fort, Delhi. And this was taken from Doha, old Doha port during a rainy season. And the same picture. So even if you don't carry a camera, we used to have our smartphones, and it has a very good quality smart camera. So if you are not shooting, you're just a person who just saw a scene and came back. But if you try to capture it, whether it is good or not, make a habit of clicking pictures wherever you are. Whenever you find something interesting, go for a click. Sorry. So when you talk about street photography, you have to be quick. Sometimes people might find you, or people might be offensive when you are holding a camera in the street. So be quick when you are on the street. Mingle with the crowds. So the rule of street photographer comes in like we are familiar with the rule of thirds, rule of odds, and all the Fibonacci, all these rules. But the rule of a street photographer comes fifth, like break the rules. You don't have to follow rule of third or all other photographic rules. Break the rules, follow your heart, follow your intuition. You might be getting something really interesting. If you stick on your rules, you might be framing the scene like rule of third or some other rules. But follow your heart, you will find really interesting pictures. That's how you bring your images unique. This was actually taken from a restaurant in Doha. Did you find anything interesting? Okay. There was a mirror. I find this face really interesting, like a skull. So that's how I follow my passion in street photography. So we always say practice makes man perfect. This is applicable especially in street photography as well. When I saw one of my mentor. I took a picture with 6 years ago when he was doing a workshop. Now I feel I was just before the stage. I saw him standing there. Like I had a picture with him. He was a mentor taking a workshop similarly. Now I feel really proud. Like I'm also standing here as a mentor and presenting my work in front of you all. So it's easy. Like if you practice and if you have a commitment towards your art, you will definitely succeed on the coming days or coming years. So yeah, when I go to shoot somewhere, if I find some place really interesting, I wait there. This was a scene which I really liked because there was reflection, there are people and faces, there was this kid looking at me. And then I tried to go for another shot behind the mirror. So again, here I find reflection, people from two sides. This is actually an ice cream parlor in Vietnam, Hanoi. Again, I waited there, and I found this picture really interesting. And this was my final image because, kids are really fond of ice creams. So there is a reflection there, two ice creams. Even this girl is excited because of the ice cream, and the picture in her T-shirt was also excited, also looking at the ice cream. So this is how I bring my final image. Actually, this is my final image. So wait there if you find some frames really interesting. One of the best thing to follow or bring a good photograph is like to know your camera well. If you find an interesting scene and when you keep looking at your camera for settings, it's a bad idea. So know your camera well. That's why like you need to keep shoot. I know people, some of my friends, photographers who are using their very old cameras till, I mean like last 10 years old camera still. Even there are so many, technologies and new cameras are here. I know some of my guys, friends who are using very old cameras still because they are very familiar with their camera because when they watch a scene, their hands automatically turns into settings and at the right time they can click their picture. Shut down some variables. You have aperture priority mode or you have shutter priority mode, depends on the situation. You can set it well and you can go for the shoot. Even, see, if you get a good click, nobody cares about the settings. Sometimes if you submit for an exhibition or a contest, they might ask for the EXIF data. Otherwise, nobody cares about the details. You can even shoot from the auto mode. All you have to do is like make a good art or a good picture. One of the things I follow is like, in the picture you see the ice cream stall, the kids, and the picture in the t-shirt. I always follow like, what is my favorite thing. Or like sometimes movies are very inspiring for me. Sometimes comics are inspiring for me. Or I used to follow like a kid. So this is one of my favorite idea to approach street. Streets is like approach through a child's eye. This was taken from Sukwakif actually. The dolphin was actually looking at the mobile phone. We know that we used to have relationships and our partner might be always checking our phone. This was the thing in my mind because my girlfriend used to always check my phone. This was taken from Dubai Mall. The smile, the expression of the balloon was very interesting for me. And this one was taken from Vietnam. Again, kids were playing with the bubbles, and I love this area especially when the car is inside the circle of the bubble. So this one, shoot first, think later. If you find some frames really interesting, take a picture. You can go home because before, during the analog era, you have only 32 frames or something, right, in the analog camera. So you have to think very well before taking a shot. So now we have digital cameras, we have memory cards, we can shoot how many frames we want. So if you find some scenes interesting, take the picture and go home and try for composition or anything. So this picture was taken from Dubai during Expo 2020. I saw this kids were playing with the balloon, balloon guy, bubble guy. So I actually didn't saw this guy in the frame. And there was a sad face behind. I actually didn't see. I approached like, I love to watch kids playing with bubbles. So I took this picture. When I came back to home, I saw this guy. We can even understand how the emotion of this guy who can't walk and how he might be thinking about this frame. This was one of my another picture. Actually, I captioned this image as time. This guy was looking at his watch. There is a picture of the watch on the wall, and the lady was also looking at the watch. And my bonus element is like, I felt like a person who is a ghost in the frame. So this was my, actually I haven't seen anything. I just saw this guy looking at his watch and the watch here. But when I came back, when I checked the frame, I find these 2-3 things interesting. So we are living in the Middle East. So we have to follow few ethics while we shoot on the public. So we have to respect the culture of this country. We have to respect family, couple, ladies especially. So you have to understand where you are shooting. If you are shooting in Vietnam or Thailand or Nepal, you don't have to bother about anything other than the privacy of the person. But when you are shooting in a country who has rich culture, You have to respect the culture and the country as well. These are the three techniques I follow when I go out on the streets: fish, follow, and freeze. If I find a scene interesting, I used to wait there for 50, 20 minutes, maybe half an hour. I used to have an intuition like there is something is going to happen here. So I used to keep my camera and I used to wait for the right moment. The next thing is like follow. If you find an interesting man or an interesting portrait or something, follow the guy. I used to follow some interesting personalities in the streets till I get him in a good frame or till I was able to communicate with the guy for taking portraits. Freeze is like when you find an interesting shot, take the shot. This was a scene from Vietnam. This was a bamboo shop. They were brothers. I like the scene. It was taken from the midnight, 11:30 after the end of a shoot day. I saw this frame. They were playing cards or they were calculating money or something. Then I waited there. Then I had a chance to talk to the guy. Then I saw that there was an interesting tattoo on his chest. So this was actually my final shot. So by communication, you might be documenting street. And one of my favorite thing is like whenever you go, you might be having an intuition like something good is going to happen here, or you might be getting a good shot. So be a fortune teller. You can always anticipate what is going to happen here. So this picture was taken in 2021, in the beginning days of before the World Cup. So there were a lot of construction happening in Cornish. So I used to take snapshots of everyday life from before the World Cup till the end of the World Cup. So I used to see, one day when I was driving through Cornish, I saw these workers carrying the slab on the streets of Cornish. Then I parked my car and came back to the scene. Then I tried to capture this image. I was not even satisfied with this picture because I didn't get the alignment correctly. So I waited there for a few more minutes. Then I got this perfect picture. This is one of my number one favorite, most favorite picture. This image is the reason today I'm standing here in front of you. This image got a lot of awards. This image traveled across the globe for exhibitions and everything. I named this picture as the city on shoulders. Any city won't be a city without the help of laborers. Pardon? Camera. Yeah. So, any city wouldn't be a city without the help of laborers. Even Middle East, Dubai or Doha, the buildings won't be such a bigger city without the help of laborers. So laborers are the backbones of our cities. So this was the concept here, city on shoulders. Sometimes you might be having a fear of communicating with people. Sometimes you might find people very friendly, so you can go and speak. So this comes through practice. So whenever you go out, you try to communicate with people. If they are offensive, just leave. So one of the main thing I used to focus is like bonus element in every pictures. See, everybody have a camera or a phone, can capture every picture. So that's how the difference between a snap shooter and a photographer. You become a photographer when you can add some bonus element in your frame, or a life, or an emotion, or an action, or something. So always try to keep a bonus element. Check yourself if this image can be taken by others or not. If you follow this, you can be a better photographer. If you saw an image like, oh, my friend can also take this picture. So there is no difference. Like you and your friend is like same. How you become a different photographer than others. So if you want to be unique, add bonus element or wait for a bonus element to happen in your frame. Like the bonus element you see in the picture and in the frame. This one was taken during a festival season in Lusail. My bonus element was I replaced the head with the lights. Again, it was a night show. I tried to shake my camera. I replaced the head with the light, and another bonus element was his eye. Here, my bonus element was the head, replacement of two head with one. This was taken from Hanoi. I used to watch a lot of movies, and this picture was captured from Lusail during a celebration. Jurassic World, some kind of picture was in my mind, so I tried to capture that. And again, I slightly shake my camera to have the chaos. You might have watched a Jurassic World or something. So this was actually in my mind. So maybe sometimes we used to, while driving, we might find something interesting. Or sometimes we won't be able to capture it. So we all are viewers, but you become a good photographer when you go out and capture the frame. So always like spotting a photo with the subject is one thing, but making an interesting picture is quite another. So you become a photographer when you capture it. Otherwise, you are just a viewer. So actually, one of my mentors used to give ideas how to improve your street photography. So this is a point like, I love umbrellas, these French caps, T-shirt prints. In the frame, you saw that the girl was in the T-shirt print was excited. So these are the main elements I look for. If I find an umbrella, caps, T-shirt prints or something, exciting T-shirt prints, I follow that. And here I will show one of my friends' photography, how he juxtaposed elements in his street. There is one famous photographer in Doha. His name is Arsenic Jr. I took his permission to present one of his favorite images in this slide. This image was taken from Souk Waqif. He won an award for this picture. See how keen his observation was. There was a ribbon on the pipe, and he juxtaposed. We call it as juxtapose. He replaces the legs with the two ribbons. So I took his permission to represent this because I didn't find a better picture to represent juxtaposition. This was his another image from a jewelry. How he juxtaposed the face with the mirror. So you can try that with animals, replacing head or combining heads. So again, we all have cameras, we all have mobile phones, we all are photographers. But how are you different from another photographer? This is the thing you have to think about. So yeah, street photography is flooded with pictures that try to be funny or clever. Either you have to clever. Engage yourself when it comes to composition or everything. You always have to keep different approaches in street. Maybe shadows or juxtaposition or anything. So again, for the first step to a best award-winning picture is like get out and shoot. So leave your comfort zone, take your camera, go out and start shooting. In street, things are decisive or undecisive. So you have to make sense what is going to happen in the frame and how to approach your frame. One thing I would love to tell is like marinate your photographs. Maybe today you took a picture and you wouldn't find interesting. So wait for some days, so after some weeks, try to see the picture again and again. So you might be finding some interesting elements in your pictures later. So don't delete your pictures. So these are the common mistakes. Like actually we are running out of time. See, we all are stock photographers or snap shooters. How you differentiate a street photographer from snap shooters? Avoid backs. which will be good in Instagram and for social media, but for street photography, back is not okay. So there is a big back, there is no information with the behind the person. So avoid backs. So again, this girl, her back is visible, so wait for some time. She might turn out to be interesting. And for me, this back was boring for me, so I go closer for a better picture there. So back is boring. Again here, change the position. You are shooting from the behind, so change the position. You might be getting some interesting frames. And one of the interesting thing in street photography, which is really important, is like face features. These face features is really important. This is like no information. Now you get the information of the person, the portrait. Maybe while looking at the picture, you can understand which continent he belongs to. Anyway, we can understand that he is not from Europe or US or Africa. He is from Asian countries. So face features is really important in street photography. Boring head is replaced by waiting some more time. Here again, this boring head with no information, and then you wait for some time, you got an interesting face line. Again, boring back, you go closer, you get a closer representation of the image. Again, this was a boring head. There is no information in this frame. Sometimes you can use in cinematography, like showing layers. But when you wait for some time, you got an interesting eye contact in the frame. So if you are bored of your life, take your camera, step out, and start shooting. You might be ended up doing a workshop maybe next year or some other. Thank you. If you have any questions, please. So when you ask me how to take great photographs, even I don't know. I just go out with my camera. I look for interesting elements. I capture. I don't have any rules. I click what I love to click. That's it. Thank you. And please don't leave the seat, because you have 3 exciting gifts from MOCI and Qatar Photography Center. So please wait. So yeah, I love making pictures, particularly act of photography engagement. I love taking pictures rather than making an image or printing it out or posting it on social media. I love image making. So even if I don't shoot, even if I don't post, I always used to click pictures. So if you have any questions, please. I'm shooting with Fujifilm. I'm a Fujifilm ex-creator Middle East, but this is my daily camera. This is Fujifilm X106.
You only use this camera?
Some of my pictures I've taken from X-T3 and X100V, all Fujifilm cameras.
What in lens?
I used to shoot 23. Previously, I used to shoot with 24-70, but then, even while traveling, this is quite easy. Otherwise, you will be having a big bag with a lot of lenses and everything. So this is really convenient for me. Yeah. If you have any queries, please.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
How you differentiate or rate? Good evening. My name is Umar with you. How you differentiate or advise from your side to capture between the mobile and a camera? Because mobile is always with us, while the camera is not always with us in sometimes.
So in street photography, capturing a good frame is really important than the brand or the camera. If you get a good frame, nobody cares about which camera you use. So always shoot with whatever you have. The best camera is the one you have in your hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With the advent of AI,
Yeah.
and photography. So now it's difficult sometimes to really understand whether the picture is real or not.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So how do you, as a photographer, professional on street photography, deal with that when you're, competing on a photo contest,
yeah.
and you try to give? Do you actually use AI?
Yeah.
Or
So this is really an interesting question. Good contest always judges with your raw files. In the end of the final session, they will ask you for raw files and EXIF data and everything. In other case, my kick of street photography is like capturing candid elements. So if there is no kick if you can add it with softwares, right? So my pleasure still holding the camera is like capturing candid moments from the street. So AI never bothered me. No, because I'll be still, you see, there are still people who shoots with analog, right? Digital camera era didn't even bother them. They are still shooting with analog because they love the process. The process of photo making is really important. Some analog photographers love to click pictures and they wait for the picture to come out of the darkroom, right? They love the process. They will see the output after the process in the darkroom comes. So they are still shooting with analog. So even AI comes or whatever comes, the passion who follows photography will definitely stick to photography. They won't add software elements or AI or anything. I mean, my pleasure is to make real photographs, not to add elements. Even I do a little bit of editing only because correcting the lights or alignment or crop or something. Otherwise, I don't do anything. So AI never, I don't think it won't bother me. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, for now we have a random number picker system. So each and everyone has a number on his seat. So we will be doing a random number picker. Whoever gets the correct number gets a small gift from here. Okay, who has number 16? Okay, whoever has number 16, please, would you come on the stage, please? Okay, please, Mr. Rajesh.
Lucky. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, who has number 32? Welcome. اوجي بعد ما في عارفينها
Godox തന്നെ കിട്ടില്ല. Thank you.
Okay, and one last one. آخر رقم. Okay, number 45. من عنده رقم 45 بعد فوجي؟ لا مضبوطة السالفة.
ഇതിലെന്തോ തട്ടിപ്പുണ്ട് ട്ടാ.
جزيل الشكر لجميع الحضور. Thank you all for attending this workshop. We will have another workshop if you guys are ready for it. So we'll start very shortly.